Hi, it's Barbara and welcome back to Wiki Design. Today I'm going to show you how to create a header using Elementor Pro. Elementor lets you customize every aspect of your website, and the header is no exception. When you use WordPress themes or other builders, you're really limited to what those themes offer, but with Elementor, you can customize your header to your liking. So today, I'm going to show you how to create a header in Elementor Pro, and I'm going to go over some best practices for header design. So what is a header? The header is generally the top of your website. It's something that will be seen on every page, and it usually includes your logo and your main navigation. But depending on how you design it, it can include other things as well. Your header is a template that you'll create and use throughout your website. On most sites, the header is something that is shown on every single page. If you think about it, on most sites, you always see the logo and the navigation menu at the top. When you create a header as a template, it makes editing much easier because you only have to edit that one template and your changes get populated throughout the site instead of having to go to every page and editing the same thing. Now that we understand what a header is, let's talk about design. The most important elements of a header are your logo and the main navigation menu. You really want to make sure those are emphasized in your header design. Make sure your logo links back to your homepage. Now this is a small detail, but it really does make a difference, and it always annoys me when I go to a site and the logo doesn't link back to home. Keep your navigation menu tidy. Avoid having too many links because it makes things look cluttered and unorganized. Although there are some exceptions, I generally say only have up to 6 links in the main navigation menu. If you have more pages than that, it's time to really start thinking about your navigation structure and the hierarchy for your pages. Not every page is a main navigation page, and this is something that I see a lot of DIYers or amateur designers do. They'll put every link in the main navigation and there's just way too many links. It's really important to think about your site structure and figure out what links are most important and what can maybe go into a drop-down or another navigation menu throughout your site. A few other design tips: I really think that slim headers are best because you only have so much real estate at the top of your page before you start scrolling. So taking up a third or even more with the header design just doesn't really make sense. Keep it slim, keep it minimal, and keep it to just the most important things. Now maybe that's just personal preference, but I don't really like when I see a huge header and I have to start scrolling nearly immediately because the header takes up so much space. Another thing that you want to pay attention to are hover and active states for your navigation links. Now this could be as simple as just changing the color on hover and active state or doing an underline or overline, but whatever it is, just do something to indicate that you're on a different page. It really does help with the user experience. Okay, now that we've gotten design and technical details out of the way, let's dive into creating a header. The first step to creating our header is to make sure that we've uploaded our site identity or our logo. In order to do that, we'll want to go to Appearance and then Customize. And that will take you to a page that looks something like this. Now I'm just using the Hello theme for Elementor, and this is a demo site, so I haven't really done much to it, so everything's kind of blank right now, but you'll see these options over on the left-hand side, and one of those is site identity. If you click that, that's where you'll upload your logos. So we'll select a logo. I've already uploaded something, so I'm just going to select my logo from the media library. I'm going to skip cropping this, and you can see now my logo shows up here. You do have the option to change the site title and the tagline as well if you want to. The next thing that we're going to do is upload our site icon. This is this logo that goes up here, and it should be at least 512 by 512 pixels, so a square image. So I'm going to select my site icon from the media library, and we will upload that here, and you can see that it's changed to the W. So then we'll hit publish, and that's step 1, just getting that set up for our header. We'll get out of here, and then the next step is to actually create a menu. We'll want to go to Appearance and then Menus, and create our main menu for our header. In order to do that, we'll just give our menu a name and then we'll start adding links over on the left-hand side to the right. So all of the links to the pages that I've created on this demo site are in here. I'm just going to start adding a few to the right-hand side. So I can add by just checking the boxes for what I want. And we'll add these to the menu. And in order to rearrange them, you just drag and drop to wherever you want things to go. So I think that looks pretty good. I just want to make sure I hit Save Menu down at the bottom. And now I've created my main menu. So once we've done those two things, now it's time to actually go and create our header template. In order to do that, we're going to go over to Templates, and then we'll create a template in the Elementor system. I already have a few templates that I've created on this demo site, and you'll see all of the templates in here. In order to add a new one, we'll just hit Add New, and then we're going to select Header, and then we can give the header a name. I usually just call it Header to keep things simple. Then we'll hit Create Template. What's really cool about Elementor Pro is that they include a bunch of pre-designed headers for you when you purchase Elementor Pro. All of these are included, so it's really worth the price if you're not a designer. You can use these as kind of a guideline. So you can select from a bunch of different header options, or you can go and create a brand new one yourself. So whatever you prefer to do it's really up to you. I like to create things from scratch, and for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to do that so you guys really know how to go about creating everything and kind of what widgets are most commonly used in a header. But feel free to use any one of these because they are all really good and they all have the elements that you probably want in a header. So I'm just going to X out of this, and if you're familiar with Elementor Pro, this should look very familiar. You can see that we have the editor with the box here to drag over our widgets, and then over on the left hand side we have all of the widgets available in Elementor Pro. For this example, I am going to start by just creating a 2-column structure. I'm going to use this one over here. So we'll have a smaller area on the left and then a larger area on the right. My idea is to have our logo on the left and then our navigation menu on the right. So I'm going to click in this area, and over here there is this option for site logo. So in the previous step, we uploaded our logo to the customizer. If I drag this widget over, you'll see that it shows up. Now I have to do a couple adjustments with sizing, but once I do that, I'll go to the Style tab and just set the width to make it look a little bit bigger. You can see that's the logo that I uploaded previously in our appearance customizer. So what's cool about this widget is that it's already linking to the home page of our site. So remember how I said in the beginning, make sure that you link your logo to your home page. It's really annoying when that doesn't happen. If you use this site icon widget, you don't have to worry about that. It's already done. We have our logo on the left-hand side, and I can just do a couple more adjustments to this to just kind of style it up a little bit, left align it. Really, that's it for the logo portion. You don't really have to do a ton to the logo to customize it. You just want to make sure that it's there. Now over on the right hand side is where I want to add my main menu. So I'm going to click in this area and I'm going to drag over this nav menu widget. So what's cool about the header, when you design it, these main widgets that you probably would use are at the top. But if you ever needed to search for them, you can just type in things in here and then it will come up as well. So I'm just going to drag this over, and you can see that menu that I created in the previous step has now populated over on to this area. And we already have some hover states and stuff styled. So again, those are things that are important with a navigation menu. We want to make sure that we are included hover and active states. I don't really like the way it looks out of the box, but with this widget, we can adjust all of those things. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just right align this to kind of keep everything looking symmetrical. And I'm going to change the pointer. I'm just going to do none for the pointer. Now there's a couple different options that you can choose, but I think I just want to have it where it changes color instead of it having an underline. Again, this is total preference. You do whatever you think looks best. We also have some mobile drop-down features that we want to make sure we're paying attention to, because not only do we have to pay attention to what things look like on desktop, but we have to pay attention to tablet and mobile as well. So the breakpoint for this mobile drop-down is tablet version. So if I go to responsive mode and I switch to tablet, you will see that now there is the hamburger looking icon, and it will be on mobile as well. So that kicks in at tablet version, and we will do some adjusting to that to style it up, but the toggle align is one thing that we can adjust immediately, and I'm just going to align that to the right to make it look a little bit better. So let's go back to our desktop version. You can see that we have the full text showing now. If we go to our style tab, this is really where we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of styling this menu. So we can change the typography. If we wanted to make the font different, we can do that here. We can change the size of things, make things a little bit bigger, the weight, transform, all of the same things that you would see in any other text widget are available in the nav menu. So play around with those. I'm going to change the normal, hover, and the active state. So the normal is what we're on now. I'm going to change the text color to black. I just want to make this black, and then I'm going to go to hover, and you can see that I can change the text color again here. So for the hover state, I'm just going to do like a lighter gray. And now let's hover over this and see what happens. So we have lighter gray as our hover state. Now I want the same color for the active state, so I'm just going to copy this and then go over to active and paste that color in. So now on the active state, so if I'm on about, it will look like this, and that will indicate that I'm on the about page. So you definitely want to make sure that you're changing all three of these, because the hover and active states are important for user experience. We can change the horizontal padding, so we can make this bigger or smaller, just depending on how we want things to look. We can change the vertical padding as well. This kind of just adds some more padding like that. I don't usually mess with that too much. And then the space between, we can change that, and that just adds a little more space in between each item. So feel free to play around with those as well. Now let's talk about the drop down states, because that is important for tablet and mobile. And if you have a drop down menu that you've created, this is where you would design that. So over here, we have some options for the normal, hover, and active states as well. So feel free to play around with those. And we have horizontal and vertical padding. We also have dividers. If you wanted to have a divider in the drop down, you can do that. And then the distance. So let me just show you kind of how some of these things look. So if I just open this up, you can see what it looks like right now. I don't really like the side by side, so I'm actually going to go back to content, and where it says full width under mobile dropdown, I'm going to click that because I like it going underneath rather than going side by side. But again, personal preference. I'll go back to style and I'm just gonna start styling things up. I'm going to add some vertical padding just to give it a little more space in between the items. And I'm going to adjust the distance as well, just so it's not as close to the logo. I think I want to change the hover state of these because I don't really like that background color as well. So I'm just gonna go to hover, and under background color, you'll see that there's nothing selected. You do have to just remove this in order for it to go away. That was something that I didn't realize when I first started using Elementor that you have to do. So if you're wondering why this isn't working and why this background color is coming up, it's just kind of a default thing. If you remove it completely, just bring down the transparency, it will go away. You can see that it's not showing anymore. Now we have to change the text color, and I'm just going to put in that same color that I had for the hover state on desktop, and you can see that it's showing that light gray color there. And then I'll do the same for the active state. So we're gonna keep things simple, but feel free to play around with this and really customize it to your liking. That's what it looks like on tablet version, and then on mobile version we can adjust even further. So I don't really like how our logo is going full width 100% and then the icon is showing underneath. So what I can do is adjust these columns just on mobile so that they stack side by side. So I'm going to click here, and then under layout where it says column width, I'm just gonna make that 80%. And then I'm going to make this one 20%. And this just affects mobile. So you can see now things are side by side. And I think that looks a lot better. It makes it so there's not as much space being taken up on mobile. Things are kind of stacked side by side versus on top of each other. So I like that better. And again, we can make adjustments if we want to only mobile devices. So if we wanted to change the size or the color, we can do that all in here. The next thing that I want to change is the way the toggle button looks. I don't like the background. So I'm just going to go to toggle button. And again, I'm going to just make this completely transparent so that there's no background color coming through. And then I can change the color if I wanted. I'm just gonna change it to black. And then on hover, we'll put in that gray color again. And then on hover, it now does that. It might be a little bit hard to see because this is kind of blocking it, but it is working. So with header design, it's really just kind of playing around like you would any other Elementor section. You just want to make sure that you are checking how things look on both tablet and mobile versions. Especially with a header, you want to make sure that people can navigate your page on their phone. So it is really important to take that into consideration. But go through all the different tabs, style things up, and really just have fun with it and come up with some cool designs. I'm going to go back to our desktop version. I just want to talk about a couple cool things that we can do with our headers. If we go to advanced, we can make a sticky header, which is something that you probably have seen a lot on several different websites. It's a pretty popular way of doing a header. You can do this very easily in Elementor. If we go to advanced and then go to motion effects, if we click where it says sticky and change that to top, it will then stick to the top. So there's nothing showing here right now, but it is sticking. If I start to add, just some random widgets, it'll kind of give you more of an effect. You can see that things will start to stick. You see how as I scroll down, things kind of go over this text section. That's because I have sticky top enabled. So this is a cool effect that you might want to try on your header. Play around with it, play around with the styling, and see what happens. But there's a lot of cool things that you can do that are built right into the Elementor page builder. I'm just going to remove this example and we will move on to some other fun things that we can do. On the logo, we can do some hover effects on the image if we wanted to kind of jazz it up a little bit. If we go to style on this, if we go to this hover state, we can add a hover animation. I'll just pick this push one, and you can see if I hover over this, it kind of just pushes the logo. There's a couple different ones available in here, so feel free to play around with those hover animations. It kind of just gives it a cool, neat effect. Just wanted to go over some of the more fun things that are built into Elementor as you're styling your header. You can play around with these and make it a little more customized. So this is a really basic header, and that might be all that you need for your website, but you have the ability to add additional sections, additional widgets. So if you wanted to add maybe like social media icons, you can add a section for that. If you wanted to add your phone number or your email address, feel free. You can do all of this within the page builder. Once you have your header set, it's time to publish it. And now you'll go down here where it says publish, and there'll be a couple different options that pop up. So it says, where do you want to display your template? Now for most sites, this is probably going to be across the entire website, but you do have the ability to create specific headers for specific pages. So for example, if you wanted to have a specific header for your home page and then every other page has something different, you do have the ability to do that. But for this, I'm just going to select entire site, and like I said before, you can change this if you needed to, depending on how your site is built. You can exclude things, you can include things. The possibilities really are endless, and Elementor makes it really easy to do this, which is something that I love about the platform. You can really customize every aspect of your website and do some pretty technical things within the Elementor page builder that if you didn't use this, you really would have to know how to code and do some PHP coding and add some functions to your files in order to get stuff like this to happen. So they do make it pretty easy. So I have this included on my entire website. I'm just gonna hit save and close, and now my header is published. If I hit view live site, you can see now my header is showing. So that's how you create a header using Elementor. That's how you create a header using Elementor Pro. I hope that you learned something from this video. Leave a comment down below and share links to your header designs because I'd love to see what you've created. As always, if you like this video, make sure you're subscribed because we're uploading new tutorials here every week and we'd love to have you join the community. Also, we started a newsletter. You can sign up for that on our website. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. Every Monday, we're sending out an email to our subscribers that links to all the new videos that we've uploaded that week. So if you missed something on YouTube, this could be a good way to catch up. If you're interested in that, sign up using the link below. We'd love to have you there too. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.